Look behind you. In the 1800s, it didn't take much to be exceptional. You needed one skill, and one skill only: the ability to read and write. If you had it, you were in the top 10% of the society. Look a little less far. In the 90s, you needed a bit more. At the premises of the internet, one skill made you king of the world: knowing how to code. Being able to create a website was the golden road. Everyone needed you. In every era, there is a key skill. Today, the context is different, but our era is no exception to the rule. The 21st century also has its key skill, the one that will put you over the top. The question is, which one?
Learners first. Action.
We first need to understand the divide that is emerging. A few decades ago, if you wanted to know something, you embarked on a endless quest. Access to knowledge was restricted.
One has now the view that the class structure is divided as between those who have information and those who do not, those who have access to information and those who must function out of ignorance.
Did you want to learn computer science, apply to such and such university, or go to the other side of the world to the only weirdo who understands something?
What's that?
Oh, that. It's a computer terminal board I'm working on. Well, the code is still buggy, but in theory, it'll display whatever you're working on, okay.
Today, we are a long way from those days.
We are in a golden age. The internet led it. Knowledge is democratized. It is available everywhere and to everyone.
That is a future which is marvelous, where knowledge becomes instantaneously available to everybody at a touch of a button.
Because all of a sudden, people are able to access many of the skills that you're being taught in top universities.
You can learn anything, from the best kept secrets of marketing to the complex equations of aeronautics. Every single thing is available. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what your social status is. Everyone has equal access to this goldmine. Only one thing will make the difference. Imagine being in a world bursting at the seams with gold and diamonds. The gems are right there, embedded in the rock beneath everyone's feet. But despite this plenty on the market, they are worth a fortune. Can you feel the paradox? So, who will come out on top of this situation? The first person to come along will scrap the ground with his fingernails and pick up a few crumbs of rock to sell. A waste of such potential. But that's what the majority will do. But the people who will really benefit are quite different. Those who know how to extract gold from rock. Those who know how to do it efficiently, quickly, and in large quantities. Those who can sell tons of it every year. Who become startups, quoted on the stock exchange, and envy of all. No need for a PhD to understand this. Knowledge is the gold of our age. And knowing how to learn is like knowing how to extract gold from rock.
And the only way you can get those skills is through learning and through continuous learning. And any company hiring people will recognize that probably the trait they're looking for most is not a particular set of skills, but the demonstrated ability to acquire skills. Because any company will realize, I think, that what's crucial is not the particular set of skills you have, but that you demonstrate a capacity to acquire them now, because a few years from now, a few months from now, it might turn out that you have to acquire new ones.
Knowing how to learn is like knowing how to read and write in the 80s, or coding the Google search engine in the 20s. It's being able to dive into a field and become an expert in record time. It's being able to discover AI on Monday and give a presentation on Sunday. That's why I'm talking about. This skill is the most valuable today.
I would say that the most important skill to getting rich is becoming a perpetual learner. Okay, you have to know how to learn anything you want to learn.
The most important skills for surviving and flourishing in the 21st century are not specific skills like computer code. Instead, the key skill is how to keep mastering new skills throughout your life.
If there was one skill to master in the 21st century, what would you say?
Your ability to learn faster. Because understanding how to learn, unlearn, and relearn is going to be the key to success in the coming years.
Apple spends a quarter of its profits on research and training its employees. They even reward the employee who had the most exceptional learning with an award. It's called the Genius of the Year. Why do they do this? Because whatever happens, whatever the world needs, you can learn it and provide it. You can adapt quickly, and so you become irreplaceable.
You are now at the top of the game because you have an unfair advantage over everyone else. You know how to mine gold. You are capable assimilating knowledge, understanding it, applying it, and monetizing it.
And if you're a perpetual learning machine, you will never be out of options on how to make money, because you can always see what's coming up in society, what the value is, where the demand is, and you can learn and come up to speed. The old model making money is like you go to school, you study for 4 years, you get your degree, and then you work in that profession for 30 years. But things change too fast now. So now you have to come up to speed in a new profession within 9 months.
It's safe to say that you're going to have to learn a lot on this path. Education expands your mind. It introduces you to novel perspectives. It increases dopamine in the brain as a consistent source of energy. It gives you the knowledge to act with clarity toward your goals. It exposes you to the potentials that you hadn't yet become aware of.
But you already knew that, didn't you?
You understand the power of learning, and we love learning. But unfortunately, I realized that enjoying learning is not enough.
So, some great things are currently happening during this documentary. I received an email which was from a French CEO with his company is making about 2 to 4 million euro per month. So it's a big company. We talked maybe 1 hour and a half about his learning habits and his current learning method. It's very interesting to see how people which are giving so much value and making so much money are often very attached to learning, and because they know that for most of them learning helps them a lot to arrive where they are now. As I saw it on a study recently, the average CEO in United States reads 64 books a year. So what I've done with this CEO, I'm just going to show you now. So the first thing I do is sending him a small poll of about 10 questions about his learning habits and his learning method. And then according to these values and according to scientific studies and researches about learning and what are the best learning methods, etc., I'm going to give a mark for every step of his learning method. So for example, okay, note taking, you are doing this on a scale from 0 to 10, how much it is, etc. Then I have some formulas which I worked on during some months, and then I make something like this. So here is how the diagnostic then looks like. So it looks like this. This is the most important part. This is your learning system, your current learning system. And here you can see that this CEO, which is someone who learns a lot, who enjoys learning, but his learning system rate is 4.3 on 10. So there are many things he can do to improve this. And here, for example, this is what is called the return on learning. So it's like the return on investment, but for learning. I learn one thing, what is the results I get in my life or in my business related to what I learned. So here it's 2.1, so it's average, but it's far from what we can do. And learning should have at least a return on investment about 3 or 4. Some others analytics I give him to have a good vision of his learning method and the impact on his business and on his life. And here is a projection. So the goal we can aim if we work on improving and optimizing his learning system during 1 or 2 months. Why I showed you this? It's about showing you that even you love learning and you have some results, etc.,
you can be far away from what you can actually do with learning.
I identified 3 obstacles that block our learning potential as learners. First, how can we learn efficiently? We were never taught how to learn or how to use our brains. This lets us to learn without a method, only by instinct. But our brains work precisely like Swiss clockwork. It performs particularly well with certain approaches, but has to invest a great deal of time and effort with others.
The way that we learn is broken. Okay, it's not quite broken, because broken would imply that it was working well to begin with. But it is inefficient, and it's ineffective, and it's really hopelessly outdated. The issue is that we're trying to overcome this 21st century information overload with learning behaviors that are thousands of years old.
And this leads us to make mistakes, to take ineffective notes, that we will never read again or start a book or online course without ever finishing it. The second obstacle is that we are not disciplined about learning. You may enjoy learning, but that doesn't mean you are disciplined to do it on a regular basis. It's exactly the same as exercising. You don't get the reward of exercising by training twice a year, but do it twice a week and your whole life changes. In the same way, it's essential to learn with a constant and regular frequency. You currently read a book from time to time. Imagine if you read 1 per month or 1 per week. Discipline in learning is one of the most neglected things today. 3. Finally, we don't apply what we learn. Our knowledge only has a little impact on our lives. How many things have you learned but never applied? Probably a lot. And that's a waste. Because learning is not a goal in itself. It's a means to a goal. You don't learn to know, but you learn to achieve things. Apply your knowledge, pass it on, and optimize your life and your career.
Everyone knows what to do, but do they do what they know? Because common sense is not common practice. And it's a myth that knowledge is power. Knowledge it has the potential to be power, but it only becomes power when we use it, when we apply it. Somebody will go and learn something, or listen to a podcast or a show, or they'll go to a conference, they'll pay all this money, but they don't do anything with what they learn.
After some deep contemplation on this concept, I've come to the conclusion that we've all bought into a lie. Knowledge is merely potential power. Much like this cell phone battery, which is stored energy, knowledge is stored information. Now, if I take my cell phone and try to power it up, it will not become empowered by the stored energy in my other hand.
To reach excellence in your personal and professional life, learning is essential. And to really learn, you need to overcome these 3 obstacles. Learning is the quickest and the most enjoyable way to grow all areas of your life. Want to be healthy? You need to learn about nutrition. You need to learn about sleep. You need to learn about exercising. Want to build a business? Learn about marketing, sales, and management. Want to become an expert in your field or boost your career? You have to learn a lot, understand, and master your field. Being able to learn effectively is boosting all aspects of your life at once. Learning is a superpower. And in the 21st century, with all the changes we are going through, it's even becoming a necessity. So how can we not know how to learn? And not mastering a skill the rest of our life is built on. And that's exactly what Alvin Toffler, quoted in Forbes magazine, said. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn. You try to learn. You read the beginning of a book here. Take a few ugly notes and follow 12% of an online course there. And that's why our knowledge and skills are partial and still too far from excellence. We want to learn the right way to grow the right way.
Hi everyone. So just a quick update. In fact, I was editing this video, and I thought to myself, okay, these 3 obstacles are maybe too theoretical, in fact, and it needs a specific example and how to put them in practice. So I'm just going to give you an example. What we have done with one of my clients is what I call I'm just going to put this here. So what we've done is what I call a learning session. So a learning session is just about blocking some time in your week to learn something you want to learn. So last Sunday, my client was learning about copywriting, and I was learning about dopamine and how dopamine affects the brain and how it works and its mechanisms and this kind of stuff. So what we've done, what you can implement also, is focusing on three things. The first thing is be in the flow state. So the flow state is being in the highest level of focus and concentration. So this is the first thing we do at the beginning of the learning session. Then using a visual and efficient note-taking method. So for example, on this subject, this is the notes I took. As you can see, it's colorful, it's stimulating for the brain, and so the brain wants to learn. And also what is very, very powerful is that it's my vision of what I heard. I don't just write what I hear, but I interpret and rearrange and reappropriate the contents to myself. And it's also very powerful for the next step. And the next step is at the end of the learning session, what we do is re-explaining what we have learned to the other. So for this session, for example, my client explained to me what he learned about copywriting during these 2 or 3 hours, and I explained to him what I've learned about dopamine in my words, and he asked me questions, etc. So what happened in fact is that it was 9 a.m. and I don't know anything about dopamine and how it works in the brain, etc. So 12 a.m., midday, I am explaining how dopamine works and what is the link between dopamine and motivation and the different actions we do in our life. You can pass from that to that if you have a clear and efficient learning method. The second thing is about discipline. What we try to do with this learning session is schedule them every week. And you can make the same thing, blocking this amount of time. And the amount of time is about you. Because if you consider learning and take learning seriously, but you give to learning just 10 minutes per week, it will be complicated then to reach your learning goals and to learn everything you want to learn. So just try to schedule and block this time, this amount of time every week. And the third thing is about applying what we learn. And in my vision, there are 2 outcomes possible. So the first thing, applying the thing I learned either in my professional life or in my personal life. This is the first output. And for this example, what I'm trying to do now is try to think about, this is what I learned about dopamine and how it affects my brain and how it affects also my energy and my motivation and stuff like that. And now I am implementing the stuff I learned on my daily routine. So it's about cold shower, it's about trying to overcome procrastination with some tips and some tricks, etc. This is the application, in my personal life. The second outcome possible is sharing. How can I share what I learned? And then what I've done is publishing the video of me explaining this subject on LinkedIn. And maybe one of the most powerful things is that you can do this on a regular basis. Imagine you do this every week. At the end of the month, you have done this 4 times. Maybe you learned 4 big subjects. You passed from 0 to someone that understands and have a solid foundation. And you can apply these things to your life.
If I have to synthesize this vision, I would say first that every era in humanity has its key skill. Second, knowing how to learn is the most valuable skill today. Third, you need to acquire a great learning method, a solid learning discipline, and apply what you learned. Now let's see how powerful knowledge can be.
Extraordinary things cannot be achieved with ordinary knowledge. We often talk about the greats of humanity. Names like Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, Napoleon, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Nikola Tesla, or even Steve Jobs and Elon Musk for younger. Whether you like them or not, they have left their mark on history by doing extraordinary things. But what's fascinating about these people is the underground. Some people call it the tip of the iceberg. They are invisible things responsible for success. It's about habits or particular skills. But what is the secret?
For the big names mentioned before, some have theories, but I discovered something they all have in common. An ability underestimated by most people, but an ability that makes all the difference. These people were outstanding learners. People will tell you that Napoleon succeeded because of his leadership or charisma. It's true, only in part.
Napoléon a mené de multiples campagnes militaires et remporté beaucoup de batailles. Sur les 86 qu'il a livrées en personne, il en a remporté 77 et perdu seulement 9, soit un taux de victoire de 90%. Alors, comment peut-on expliquer de tels succès?
Is it a gift? I will break the suspense straight away. No. The secret is that Napoleon had an encyclopedic knowledge of the art of war.
Sa culture militaire est le fruit de très nombreuses lectures. La guerre des Gaules, de Jules César, L'art de la guerre, de Machiavel, L'essai général de tactique, de Guibert. Il a lu les récits des historiens et des tacticiens du passé, comme de ses contemporains. Et ce large corpus lui sert d'inspiration dans ses propres manœuvres.
A knowledge that his adversaries didn't have. A knowledge that enabled him to surpass the other nations and build an empire. The rest is history. In another sphere, take Elon Musk. How did a man with no aerospace training manage to create a company that rivals NASA? Yes, he's a great entrepreneur who has a good network and colossal financial resources, but that's not enough. At some point, you have to be competent. So in 2 months, Elon Musk is going to achieve a feat. In 1995, Musk decided to learn everything there about aerospace. And for 60 days, he devoured tons of books and research documents on the subject.
How did you get the expertise to be the chief technology officer of a rocket ship company?
Well, I read a lot of books and spoke to a lot of smart people.
You're self-taught?
Yeah. Well, self-taught, yes, meaning I don't have an aerospace degree.
So how did you go about acquiring the knowledge?
Well, I read a lot of books, spoke to a lot of people, and have a great team.
In the end, he was able to have technical discussions with experienced engineers. He even surprised the experts with his understanding of complex concepts. Bill Gates reads 50 books a year. Warren Buffett reads 5 to 6 hours a day. Nelson Mandela read and master the works and writings of Nadine Gordimer. It opened a deep understanding of South African mechanisms. Malcolm X devoured Webster Dictionary in prison, page after page, mastering definitions and etymology. He added 10,000 words to his vocabulary in only 2 years. Dig into the biographies of the minds you admire, and you will always find the same thing. Learning is a pillar of their lives.
And it's through learning that they've achieved the unthinkable and the things they hold dear in their lives. So if you feel that fire for achieving extraordinary things, you can't deal with ordinary knowledge. Because if you learn like everyone else, you get the same results as everyone else. But to have incredible knowledge and integrate it into your DNA like visionaries of this world, your learning must be unique. And when people will ask you how you did it, you'll tell them about Lifelong Learner.
Lifelong Learner is my method for becoming an outstanding learner. This method is for people who are looking for a deep and lasting change. I designed this approach with the idea it will be the way people will learn in 30 years. Except that you can apply it today. You are going to have to learn a lot. So start by knowing how to learn. I've set aside time to discuss this with you. We will talk about your objectives and the potential results you can expect from the Lifelong Learner program. You can book your slot under this video. I close my calendar once I've reached 10 to 15 calls. So book your 15-minute call now. I will explain to you my method and the system I use, and we will see together if it fits with your personal and professional objectives. It was a real pleasure to bring you this small documentary. See you.